Hello, my name is Mary Richardson. I am a teacher with VIPKid, and as the sign says, if your mock class was not passed, it's okay. I wanted to bring you this video today in support of all those who are out there maybe thinking about becoming a teacher for VIPKid, or maybe you've applied and you think, I don't know. Everybody says it's good, but what would it be like for me? I just wanted to share my story with you because as I was thinking today, it wasn't necessarily what you'd call an easy road. And it was because of me. It is an easy road now, but looking back, I had a few hiccups. So the road is streamlined, but I had a few hiccups. So yes, the road is easy. I didn't mean to say it wasn't easy. It's easy. I just had a few hiccups. So I thought I'd bring you this video today to share my story in how I got started with VIPKid. So my name is Mary Richardson, and a little bit about me. Here's my stats. I hope you can see that. I can line it up right with the camera. All right, there we go. Okay, there's my stats. There's my picture. There's my stats. Hopefully they come across. I have taught over 2,100 classes, over 1,300 students with VIPKid, and I've been with them for 266 days. So that's where I am now. That's about 8 months. So what happened was I was working in another state and in Arizona, and I wanted to move away from Arizona. So I wasn't very happy, wasn't making a lot in the job that I was in. And I have a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and it can be really frustrating if you've invested that much in yourself and you're not getting at least satisfaction when you go to work, or you don't feel like you're making a lot. So I wanted to move away from Arizona, and about a year before I moved, somehow I came across VIPKid, and I had seen pictures of people in orange shirts and with their kids, and a real happy background, an educational background. And these are just people on Facebook that were with VIPKid. And I started reading a little bit about it, and I thought, well, that sounds really good. And I looked at the requirements, and it was like, okay, here's your requirements. Let me go through them since we're on that subject. The requirements are that you have at least a bachelor's degree, that you have taught children for at least a year, and that can be in anything from church groups, Sunday school, homeschooling, youth camp. If you have an educational background, you're a brick and mortar teacher, of course that qualifies. But other life experiences where you've been teaching kids. So first box, check. I have that education. Second box, yeah, I had taught kids, check. Third one is that I'm eligible to work in the US or Canada, check. And then of course they offer TESOL, T-E-S-O-L, certification once you become a teacher with VIPKid, and they pay for it, which can further enhance your qualifications to make life a little bit easier as you teach. So I was interested, and this was about a year before I moved, and I thought, well, okay, and I checked it out, and then I got scared because I didn't really know anybody teaching VIPKid. I didn't know anybody personally. And although everybody reached out to me and it felt friendly and it felt good, I thought, oh, it sounds too good to be true. That's what I was thinking. And I thought, oh, no. And then a few months later, I got another email from VIPKid reaching out to me with their easy application process. And I thought, oh, come on. Is it that easy? And I just kind of pushed it out of my mind just because I thought it sounded too good to be true again. So flash forward a year later, I had moved to a different state. I had my own business, but when you move, there's a little downtime when you have a business to get it reestablished, etc. So I was really looking for income that I could count on consistently. And I thought working at home would be just such a blessing would be so huge. And so again, VIP Kid popped into my mind. So if you believe in higher power, God, source, yeah, I'm telling you, third time popped in my mind, and I went all out. I looked at VIP Kid, I looked at all the many different people's posts on Facebook and videos, just like you're doing. So long story short, I'm like, this sounds great. It sounds like a lot of happy people, and I meet all the qualifications, and people are saying, yeah, they get paid on time regularly, and they've been with VIP Kid for quite a while. So I'm like, I'm all in. So I filled out the application, but I'm really nervous. I was really nervous at this point, right? So because I don't have my education is not in brick and mortar education. It's in something else. So, but it's a bachelor's degree, a master's degree. I'm like, all right, I can do this. So when I filled out the application, this is a secret, don't tell anybody, but I actually misspelled my own email address. I know, that's how nervous I was. I got things, a couple of things out of place there. So I filled out the application, and then I didn't hear anything. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I put my heart into this, filled out the application, I'm gung-ho. And then I went back to the email and I realized, oh my gosh, I put in the wrong email address. So I get back into VIP Kid. I try to get to the right place, to their support center, let them know, hey, I'm still interested, and try not to sound too silly. I made an honest mistake. I put in the wrong email address. So I got all that corrected. I got good communication back and forth with VIP Kid through email. So I did my demo. I got it uploaded to the right place. So now I'm like, all right, I got the mock class all set up, mock class 1 going. I got it all set up, had my computer, had all my props, my desk set up, I'd practiced and everything. But, and you won't make this mistake. That's why I'm getting this video to you. I was thinking that I could just go off the Wi-Fi in our house. And so it came time for the mock class. I'm in there 15 minutes in the classroom, 15 minutes early. I checked out my camera, I'm good. Microphone works, good. So, okay, the class is time. It's time to start. So here comes the teacher, teacher that's going to pretend to be a student in China. And I'm still nervous just talking about it. But so she came into the classroom, and I would say something, and it would the Wi-Fi would be like a long pause, and her video the other teacher, we have split screen, and the other teacher, I couldn't hear her right away. There was a long delay, and it was back and forth like that. And so in communicating like this, essentially she was saying, your Wi-Fi, you need to plug yourself into your router. You need a hard line into your router, into your computer, because just working off the Wi-Fi, I mean, technically we're streaming audio and video to China. Now the teacher was in the States, she was in another state, but still just working off the Wi-Fi, it wasn't enough signal strength. So I'm like, oh yeah, I just remembered. Plus, I'm trying to keep this condensed, but it is kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it. So I was working off a borrowed laptop that was like really old. It had a great big screen, which I thought was going to be fabulous, and it would have been, but it was really old. The processor wasn't fast enough. And by old, I'm talking like 8 years old or more, right? So it's a great computer, but the processor couldn't keep up either. So that's 2 strikes, right? I had Wi-Fi wasn't hardwired into the router, and 2, the laptop was probably at least 8 years old. So the processor was really old. All right. Or really not state of the art, not fast enough. It was for other things it worked, but it wasn't fast enough. All right, you get the idea. So here's the teacher looking at me. I'm looking at her, and like I'm only getting like every 4th or 5th word from her, and vice versa. So essentially she said, you have to upgrade, or not upgrade, but is there another computer that you can use? So I quick asked my boyfriend, and he had another computer, which was much newer. And he said, yeah, use this. So literally my teacher is waiting for me to do the mock class. And here I am switching out computers, literally. So I've got wires all over. I mean, wires, cords all over. I have one laptop set aside. My desk is filled with props. Because if you're like me, I had an abundance of props because I didn't want anything to go wrong. So I'm switching out computers at the last minute. Here's the instructor waiting and kind of watching, right, as I get everything plugged in. And I finally get the laptop up, and it's a little bit faster, but I didn't realize that you really do need to be plugged into the router. Of course, I didn't have a cord handy to do that, but she said essentially we could now communicate a little bit. But she said really that the connection was so delayed that it was still really hard, and that 15 minutes had already gone by. And she said, typically we only allow you about 15 minutes if you're switching out equipment for the mock class. So, and we're at the 15-minute mark. And she said, I'm sorry, but you'll have to reschedule your mock class. So I said, oh, I understand. I said, I didn't know that it would that my equipment would affect the situation so much. So I said goodbye and thank you. But I was so disappointed. I had, oh my gosh, I had props coming everywhere on my desk. I had overkilled on props, and here it was, simple things. But it can happen. So that's what happened to me. So I rescheduled my mock 1. So now, like, I want to get started because literally you can start earning income in about 2 weeks. So I'm like, I've got a timeline, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I hit it full speed ahead. My boyfriend said I could use his computer. It was brand new, which was awesome. So now I'm like, okay, now I've got to tackle the Wi-Fi. I've got to get plugged in to the router. And I continued to do ping tests, and that didn't seem to be updating considering all the changes. So I'm wondering if that's right. So I'm like, here's what I need. I need my own dedicated Wi-Fi line into the house where I don't have to share with anybody. It's my own dedicated line. I'm going to plug into the router. It's going to set on my desk. And that's just a cost of doing business that I'm willing to absorb. Because I figured out all the expenses, and I figured out what I could potentially make. And I knew, okay, so whatever the cost is of this, high-speed internet, it's just a cost of doing business. So now I scramble. I get AT&T to come out, and we live in the country. So I get AT&T to come out, and they're like, I don't know what they quoted you, but the box is clear down the road. By the time it gets up to the house, you're not gonna have anything faster than, they quoted me like a real low Wi-Fi speed. All right. So I'm like really disappointed. I'm like, oh no. Okay. So long story short, I called a different company. I called Xfinity, which is Comcast. And in our area, they came out, and I worked with the technician, and I'm like, here's what I'm trying to do. Stream audio and video to China consistently for hours on end. I'm like, that's what I need. So the guy was really helpful. He ran a line underneath the house directly into my office. We plugged in a router I already had, so I didn't have to buy a new router. I could use the router I already had, but I just had a dedicated line. Didn't have to share with anybody, and it's on my desk, and I just plugged in. I'll show you the wire. I plugged in just this groovy little connector to the laptop, one to the laptop and one to the router. All right, so now I'm like, I'm in business. But this took like a week, maybe a week and a half to get everybody out there, to try AT&T, and then to go to Xfinity. And they always quote you prices, but you never know till the technician gets out there. All right, so now I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on, Mary, let's go. So I'm pushing myself. So I set up my mock class. Now this is the second, okay, yeah, this is the first, okay, the first mock class, the equipment and the Wi-Fi wasn't fast enough. All right, so I corrected all those problems. So I'm good to go. I set up my mock class, again, have all my props out, and the teacher comes into the classroom and I do, you know, I have all my props. I probably honestly had too many props because I spent a little bit too much time like reaching for things, you know, and to display them. And I didn't realize it's smarter to have one prop with a lot of things like colors, animal. I can do red, yellow, green, white, orange, blue, and monkey just with just this one prop. So I didn't realize like how much that would help me having a prop with multiple uses. So I had too many props, but the way that mock class went is the first half of it, the instructor was pretending to be like a 5-year-old or 7-year-old with very little English speaking ability or English speaking vocabulary, with very little vocabulary. And then the second half, she pretended to be a more advanced student. There was a little break in between the first half and the second half where she gave me some information, feedback on how the first half went. So I did the first half. She said, okay, let's pause for a moment. Let me give you some feedback. She told me what I did great. And she said, one thing you have to work on is your pacing. Now, if you haven't heard that before, pacing just means go faster. It doesn't mean talk faster. It means get through the slides, at least one slide every minute. So, and I was spending maybe, I wasn't even looking at the clock. So maybe like a minute and a half on one slide, 2 minutes on another slide. You know, I wasn't pacing it properly. And that is probably one of the things that I heard when I started is that gets most people is the pacing. Now that I've been teaching so many classes, I've got it down. But at that point, of course, I'm trying to manage my props, the content, and move along quickly. So if I can help you practice with pacing, I can definitely do that. I've got over 2,100 classes under my belt. So I can definitely help you with pacing. I put everything in the description box below, my email address, my website, the website. Yeah, well, my email address would be the main thing. Just email me and I can help you with that. So anyway, so we broke for a moment. The instructor told me to work on my pacing. I'm like, yeah, okay, I got it. But what I didn't realize is they are 1,000% serious about the pacing in the mock classes. So I didn't adjust that enough to the second part of my mock class. Still on mock 1, but the second half of it, I still didn't correct that enough. I corrected it a little, but not enough. So what I should have done is just put aside some of the props and just go with the content on the screen. Because honestly, guys, the content on the screen is really all you need. So make your life easier, go with the content on the screen, and your pacing will be right on target, I promise you. So the second half, I didn't pace myself enough. So I get done with the mock class, the mock 1, and I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, after all I've been through, thank God that's over. Then like within 24 hours, they said they'd let me know how I did. Well, within a short period of time, I got an email that said I didn't pass my mock 1 class. So now I'm really crushed, right? I'm really crushed. I'm sorry this video is so long, but you gotta know the story and the backstory, because this will help you know that you are not alone. You are not alone if you're going through any of these things. So I'm really crushed, but I'm like, I'm doing this. I am determined to do this and to do well. So of course, VIP is amazing. They really don't, it's not a fail if you don't pass, you just do it again. And even if you don't pass again, you can go to I think they call it the practice center and practice. So they really do want teachers and they are really supportive. But for me, I wanted to nail it the first time. All right, so I didn't pass my mock one, so I scheduled it again. I practiced my pacing and I'm like, I'm on it. I am on it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do well this time. So I rescheduled my mock class. And I think in there, I had a scheduling conflict where I had to I had signed up for it, but then I had to cancel that one. I couldn't make that. I picked a time and the time didn't work. So I had to cancel that and reschedule. So now I'm in the mock class 1 for the second time. So I get a different teacher, of course, because there's lots of different teachers that are evaluating. And so I've got my internet working. I've got my fast computer now that my boyfriend lent me, God love him. And now I've got my props under control and I've practiced my pacing a ton. Okay, so I'm in the mock class 1 again, and I'm going through and I'm interacting. I do remember this now. I do remember the instructor asked me, "Teacher, what does enough mean?" I know. I'm like, enough? So I'm like, all right, I can think on my feet. I can manage this. And I said, I defined it. I forget how I defined it. Something like you were doing well, you're doing great, you're doing okay, something like that. Because it wasn't one of the target words, but it was it was on the slide. All right. So that was kind of out of the blue, but it was good. And so I finished the part 1, the part 2, and I'm on it. I'm on the pacing. And the teacher did give me a little more instruction. She said, this was a different teacher, but she said, your pacing was good, but it could be better. And she named off all the things I did well, and pacing was, she goes, it was acceptable. I was like, oh my God, like, I think I'm going to crash. I think I'm going to like faint, right? All right. So they don't tell you if you passed at that time. You have to wait till you get an email after. All right. So mock 1 class, I'm waiting. I got an email pretty quickly, like within 24 hours, right? But of course, I'm checking my email all the time now. And it said, congratulations, you passed. We're so excited for you to teach your next class. Woo! Or to move on to onto the next stage and to get into the classroom, right? So I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm like, praise Jesus. This is awesome. All right. So now I'm on to mock 2. All right. So I do mock 2. Again, I've practiced a lot by this time. And again, I wasn't really working with anybody. I knew there was help out there, but I was kind of maybe a little embarrassed because I'm like, I don't have an education or a background in education. I'm not a brick and mortar teacher, have all the other qualifications. I have a bachelor's degree and master's. You got that. But I'm like, I was kind of embarrassed. And I was thinking, well, I don't know, what's it going to feel like to work with somebody I don't even know? So that's why, one of the reasons why I'm producing this video for you today, because I want you to get to know my story and that I feel you. I hear you. I've been there and I would love to work with you. I have a Zoom account where I can literally set up a screen, send you a link, and we connect just like, it's not the same platform that they use in China, but it's like Skype. So it's Zoom. It's much more stable than Skype. It will cost you nothing. I send you a link. You work with me. I will help you all the way through the application to teaching your first class. All right. So that's what I offer. So because I've been there, guys. So now I'm on to mock 2. And that when I don't remember anything about that really. I think it went pretty well. I think it was a more advanced class, and I think it was the My Country, My Culture. So I used these, Tiananmen Square, and I think these are I don't know what mountains those are, but I used it for mountain. So I used these. I got these dowels at Walmart for like a ton of them for a couple bucks. And then as you can see, I just used masking tape on the back. Oh, there's some of my personal information. Pretend you didn't see that. All right. So maybe I'm sharing too much. When you share your passwords, it's probably too much. All right. So now I passed my second mock 2, got the email, congratulations, welcome to VIPKid, look for your contract. I'm like, awesome. Awesome. There's just no words for it. I'm so proud to be a part of the company or as a teacher because it was something I really, really wanted. And I still want. So, I'm still how many classes in, 2,100 classes in, and I still want to do it. So there's your testimonial. All right. So after you pass, they will want to see some documents from you. I believe it was my social security card, my driver's license, and the copies of my degrees, certificates, diplomas, and then once you upload that, they give you a way to upload it securely. Again, I'm like, I'm sending this to China. Is this right? People around me were like, do you know what you're doing? You're sending that information to China? But I promise you it was secure the way they said to do it. And then there was the day that I got my contract. Oh my gosh. And that was such a beautiful day. So I got my contract, I read through it, but there's a lot of videos on here about the contract, and it flowed right with what everybody had told me. There were no surprises. Of course, read your contract, right? I'm not saying anything other than that, but I'm saying there were no surprises in my contract. So I read it, I digitally signed it, and securely got it back to VIPKid. And literally then they're like, all right, let's open up some slots, get you some classes. So literally at this point, my schedule was pretty open. And I had kind of watched a lot of videos, so I knew what times I wanted to work. Of course, it's usually your overnight. Their day is our night. So I knew what I was going to be. I knew I'd be having some early mornings and late nights. So I opened up a lot of slots. I uploaded a video. And keep in mind, guys, I'm not like a video guru. I'm not like, oh, I don't have a ton of equipment. I've got my cell phone and I got a computer. And I think the video I did was just on my cell phone. I think I just emailed it to them, to VIPKid, to put in my profile. I think that was it, with maybe a couple pictures. And all right, so I can help you with your profile as well, because parents look at that when they're looking to book. Also, opening up slots. You can be the best person, the most qualified person, but if you have like an hour a week to teach, well, you'll probably still get booked, but it'd be better if you had a little more time. But if that's all you have, that's still good. You can still do this. You can still earn money. So I don't want anybody to get discouraged. All right. So that's my story. And I think I covered all the points. Yeah, so once I got my contract, my goal was to get bookings. So I accepted it. Well, of course, there's no turning it down. I was open to teaching trial classes. I was open to teaching level 1, level 2. They approved me for a couple of different levels, I think the upper levels, but I also accepted teaching lower level trial classes, which means younger students, anywhere from 3 to 3 on up who maybe know 1 or 2 English words, if any. So those are trial classes, and at first that's all I had. So that's probably another video. I don't want to keep you too long, but I wanted to share my story. And just to, look for my other video on trial classes, because that was the only thing I had. I had no upper level courses when I first started. So if you're 30 days in and only getting a few trial classes, that was my normal. And it just honestly built on that. And the main thing, all of a sudden I had a ton of open slots, and I don't know, maybe 6 weeks in, I was starting to get booked. Like the majority of my slots were starting to get booked. Now everybody's experience is different, so there's no guarantees, and I knew that. I was just open to whatever the universe wanted to bring me. I'm here, I'm open. So I wanted to share my story with you. I hope this helps you. I hope this helps somebody. If even one part of it resonates with you and makes you feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more positive that yes, you can do this. And it's so worth it, because here's my stats. So 2,100 classes, 1,300 students, 266 days, which is about 8 months. But that was my choice to open up all those slots. You don't have to do that. I teach about 75 classes a week, 60 to 75. That's my choice. That's my choice. And it's not for everybody. But if I can do this and really love it, I think you can too. If you love kids, and they make me laugh every single day. There's one student that told me the other day, we were looking at a rhinoceros, and they have horns, and I said, "What is that?" And I circled the horn, and he said, "That's their tooth." And I was like, "That's a horn." He said, "No, that's a tooth." I'm like, "Okay, it's a tooth." But they make me laugh all the time. There was one kid that okay, well, I'll save that for other videos. I could tell a story with every video, but I wanted to bring this to you. I know it's been over 32 minutes. You've been watching this. Check out the description box below. If you like this, please click like. If you want more videos to be notified, click subscribe and the bell button. You'll be notified every time I upload a video. My goal is to do at least 2 videos every week. So with relevant information to get you through the application process. I would love to help you become a teacher with VIPKid. Click on my referral link in the description box, and you can cut and paste that into your own browser. When you click on the referral link, it will take you to a whole nother page which has my picture on it, and it says, "Come teach with me." At VIPKid, something like that. All right, so it's been a pleasure, and I hope this helps somebody. You're not alone, and you have so much support, because there's groups on Facebook that are private for VIPKid teachers, so you've got a ton of support. But let's get you teaching and earning. You could be earning money in your first 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, if you have nothing going today, you could be earning money 2 weeks from today, and I'll help you through. So take care. Goodbye for today. Have a happy day. Be happy and be kind. Goodbye for today.